So hey guys, my name is Rishabh Singh, a first year medical student from Eastern Medical College and Hospital, Comella. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, so please go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I try to provide you some educational video related to MBBS. I hope you will gain or acquire something new at the end of it. If you like, don't forget to subscribe, like and comment below. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to discuss about the cecum. Cecum is a part of large intestine. So cecum, as you can see here, cecum here is represented as blind. Why it is blind? It is large dilated blind sac at the commencement or proximal end of the large intestine. It is situated in the right iliac fossa above the lateral half of the inguinal ligament. Its surface projection occupies the triangular region limited by the lateral plane and the tubercular plane and the inguinal ligament. It communicates with the superiorly with the ascending colon, medially at the ileocecal junction with the ileum, and the posterior medially with the appendix. We'll talk about the shape of the cecum. Generally, the cecum appears as a dilated pendulous sac inferior to the ileocecal junction. Now coming to type of cecum, the cecum and the vermiform appendix develop from the cecal bud arising from the caudal limb of the primitive intestinal loop. The proximal part of the bud dilates to form cecum and the distal part remain narrower and form the vermiform appendix. On the basis of growth, the cecum later on of four types may be found as in adults, like conical type or fetal type, which is about 2%. The cecum is conical and appendix is attached at its apex. Infantile type, which is about 3%. The cecum is quadrate in shape due to equal size of right and left saccules, and the appendix is attached at the depressed bottom. Normal type, which is 80 or 90%. The right saccule is larger than the left and appendix is attached on the posterior medial aspect about 2 cm below the ileocecal junction. Exaggerated type, it is of 4% or 5%. The right saccule is immensely large due to exaggerated growth and the left saccule is absent. The appendix is attached just below the ileocecal junction. Now coming to dimension of cecum. As you can see, the dimension of cecum, the length is 6 cm and the width is 7.5 cm. Now coming to the types of cecum, as you can see in the diagram, fetal type conical, type 1 is represented here, in which vermiform appendix at its apex. Infantile type quadrate type 2 is represented here. Normal type 3 is represented here, and exaggerated type 4 is represented here. Now coming to relation of the cecum, the visceral relations are anterior relations are coils of small intestine, greater omentum, anterior abdominal wall in the right iliac region. Now coming to posterior region, as you can refer this figure. In this figure you can see the posterior relations like right gonadal vessel here, lateral cutaneous nerve of thigh here, genitofemoral nerve here, psoas major muscle here, iliacus muscle here, external iliac artery here, femoral nerve here. The posterior relation are right psoas major and iliacus muscle, femoral nerve, lateral cutaneous nerve of thigh, right gonadal vessels, and right external iliac artery, which is sometimes retrocecal recess, often contains the vermiform appendix. Now coming to peritoneal relation. In about 90% individuals, cecum is almost completely surrounded by the peritoneum and has a wide retrocecal recess which may extend up to posterior to the lower part of the ascending colon and then called retrocolic recess. The vermiform appendix frequently lies in the retrocecal recess. Coming to the peritoneal folds in relation to the cecum and the terminal part of the ileum. Superior ileocecal fold. It lies between the ileum and the ascending colon. It is the fold of peritoneum from the posterior abdominal wall raised by the anterior cecal artery. Therefore, it is called vascular fold of cecum. It guards the superior ileocecal recess and open downwards and to the left. Now coming to inferior ileocecal fold, it extends from the anterior inferior aspect of the terminal part of the ileum to the cecum or appendix. It does not contain any blood vessels, hence also called bloodless fold of Treves. It lies in front of the ileocecal recess which look downwards and to the left. Now coming to cecal fold, it lies on the posterior surface and form the right boundary of the posterior ileocecal recess. So as in figure you can see different peritoneal relation of cecum in the anterior view and in the inferior view. In anterior view you can see anterior cecal artery, superior ileocecal fold, superior ileocecal recess, terminal part of ileum, inferior ileocecal recess, mesentery of appendix, inferior ileocecal fold which is bloodless fold of Treves. Now coming to the inferior view of ileocecal region, this is the tinea, this is terminal part of ileum, this is retrocecal recess, this is vermiform appendix. Now coming to interior of cecum. The interior of the cecum present two orifices, ileocecal orifice and appendicular orifice. The ileocecal orifice is the prominent feature of the interior of the cecum. The ileocecal orifice, as you can see this figure, in this figure you can clearly see the ileocecal orifice. It presents the posterior middle aspect of cecocolic junction where ileum opens into the large intestine. The orifice measures 2.5 cm transversely. The orifice is guarded by a valve called ileocecal valve. The valve has two lips, upper and lower. The upper lip is smaller and horizontal. It lies at the level of ileocecal junction. The lower lip is longer and concave upwards. As you can see in the figure, lower lip of ileocecal and upper horizontal lip of ileocecal valve. So lower lip is longer and concave, as you can see in the diagram. The two lips meet at the end are continued in the mucosa fold called the cecal frenula. So both the folds will continue in the mucosal fold which is called cecal frenula, which may act as cecocolic sphincter and it will act as a sphelocolic sphincter. Each lip is made up of thickening of circular muscle coat covered by the submucosa and mucosa. The ileocecal valve regulates the flow of contents from the ileum to the cecum, prevents regurgitation of the content from cecum into the ileum. Now coming to clinical correlation of the cecum. A barium enema that fills the colon completely always enter the terminal part of ileum to a variable extent. Failure of relaxation of ileocecal sphincter in long-standing large bowel obstruction may cause distension and the rupture of cecum if the obstruction is not relieved. The cecum acts as a guide to surgeon during operation for the intestinal obstruction. The dictum is that if cecum is distended, the obstruction in the large intestine and it is empty, the obstruction is in small intestine. So basically cecum acts as a guide for the surgeon to operate the intestinal obstruction. Now coming to appendicular orifice, it is a small circular orifice situated about 2 cm below and slightly behind the ileocecal orifice. The orifice is guarded by the insignificant semicircular fold of mucosa membrane called the valve of Gerlach attached to the lower margin of the opening. As you can see in the figure, the valve of Gerlach is present here. Now coming to blood supply and lymphatic drainage. The cecum is supplied by the anterior and posterior cecal branches of ileocecal artery, a branch of superior mesenteric artery. As you can see the figure, the superior mesenteric artery, basically ileocolic artery, have the superior division of ileocolic artery and inferior division of ileocolic artery which supply the cecum. Now coming to nerve supply, the sympathetic nerve supply is derived from the thoracic 11 and the lumbar 1 spinal segment through the superior mesenteric plexus. The parasympathetic nerve supply is derived from the both vagus nerve. So this completes our lecture on the topic cecum. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, then don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is MBBS Studies with Rishabh Singh. Thank you.